Right now, the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling on gerrymandering likely means Wisconsin's lawsuit over Republican-drawn legislative maps is over. And the High Court rules on a Wisconsin OWI case allowing law enforcement to draw blood from an unconscious driver.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now on this Thursday afternoon. We have some severe weather chances this afternoon and evening. Let's head to the Weather Center. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti has a look at your first alert forecast. Hi, Gary.
Hi, Mark. Well, as the heat and humidity build, we were afraid that there was the potential for some severe weather. That seems to be increasingly likely today. We have an alert day in the forecast for today, tonight, and actually for tomorrow as well, for the possibility for strong to severe thunderstorms with hail, high winds, and heavy rain. There could be a squall line that could produce a little more widespread wind damage. And we have alert days in the forecast, not only for tomorrow, but also for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for hot and humid weather with high temperatures around 90 and heat index values close to 100. A big cluster of storms blew up over Minnesota and is moving eastward. That might provide the focus for the first round of thunderstorms later this afternoon. You see those storms sweeping into parts of western Wisconsin, but there's an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight, with high winds being the main threat. Temperatures right now are in the middle 80s, but notice the dew point temperatures, mid 60s to the lower 70s. So the heat index right now is in the 90s over southwestern Wisconsin. That's making the atmosphere very unstable. Look for some rounds of thunderstorms from late this afternoon through the overnight hours. Today's high temperature at 86. I'll have more details on the severe weather threat in a few minutes.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Gary. In a 5-4 decision, the Supreme Court has ruled that the longtime practice of partisan gerrymandering cannot be decided by federal courts. Lower courts had found that congressional district maps drawn in Maryland and North Carolina went too far in benefiting one political party over the other. That ruling means a challenge to Republican-drawn legislative boundaries in Wisconsin is likely over. The 2015 federal lawsuit alleges boundaries Republicans drew unfairly diluted Democrats' voting power. A trial was set for next month. The High Court also ruled that law enforcement do not need a warrant to draw blood from an unconscious driver in a suspected drunk driving case. The decision involved a 2013 OWI case where a breath test found a man was 3 times over the legal limit and was unable to answer whether he consented to a blood draw. An officer had the hospital take one. The majority opinion today found that officers must administer a blood test if a breath test is not possible. And the U.S. Supreme Court has blocked the citizenship question from the 2020 census for now. The High Court is sending the issue back to the Commerce Department for technical reasons, saying the agency's explanation for adding the question was inadequate. 3 lower courts sided with opponents of the question. They argue millions of people would not respond to the census out of fear the question would be used against them. The lack of responses could affect how federal money is allocated, could determine how many representatives each state gets in Congress, and could eventually give Republicans a bigger electoral advantage. A second group of Democratic presidential candidates will make their pitch and try to stand out from the more than 24 battling to take on President Trump. Former Vice President Joe Biden, along with Senators Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris, are among the more prominent candidates taking the stage tonight. Last night's candidates agreed on plans for the economy, but there was less common ground on how to fix health care. Another major topic was the crisis at the border, with 3 candidates delivering bilingual answers. Reactions among potential voters were, not surprisingly, mixed.
I believe Cory Booker was the winner.
The one I didn't really care for tonight was Beto.
I want somebody that will energize people.
The second debate is tonight at 8 o'clock. Experts from the UW-Madison Elections Research Center will live tweet analysis of the debate. You can watch the hashtag UW.2020.debate or -debate, that is. Their Twitter handle is @-elections-center. The state Supreme Court has ruled Enbridge Energy won't be required to get additional insurance for a pipeline project in Dane County. In 2014, Enbridge filed to expand a pumping station so it could expand capacity of a pipeline running from Wisconsin to Illinois. Dane County wanted them to get extra insurance in case of spills. The High Court decided Enbridge already had sufficient insurance. Right now, Republicans are pressing Governor Tony Evers to approve the state budget. The GOP stripped out Evers' policy proposals from the plan and cut down on spending. The budget has now passed the House and Senate and heads to Evers' desk. The governor has not revealed if he will sign it into law, veto it, or use his partial veto powers, saying he's waiting to see the final version of the budget.
One guy yesterday fell and hit his head, cut his head open, and I know a gentleman last week fell and slipped and hurt his back.
High water at the Green Bay Metro boat launch has left sections of boat docks underwater at the Fox River. A bait shop owner is urging the city to fix the problem that has put many people in harm's way. The near record high water on the Bay of Green Bay is hiding the ramps leading up to the floating docks. The ramps are slippery because they're covered in algae. The situation had anglers heading elsewhere, which means the area is losing out on business. The city has started work to lift all submerged ramps out of the water to again provide boaters safe access to these floating docks. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
As our week-long tribute to the Wild Wild West continues, today we're highlighting something that is gold in color and worth rushing to the table for. This week, we've been out of the kitchen highlighting the Wild Wild West. It's hard to talk about the Old West without mentioning the gold rush. And although there was a gold rush in Georgia and the Carolinas, nothing was bigger than the 1848 California gold rush, where more than 300,000 cowboys, pioneers, and settlers headed west in hopes of getting rich. Although shiny gold nuggets were panned from rivers and mined from the hills of California, there was yet another golden nugget that was treasured. The Indians knew it as maize, but the cowboys called it corn. And with this popularity came corn cakes, corn bread, and even hot from the oven corn bakes. So with that in mind, let me share with you an updated throw-together corn bake that is just as welcome on the dinner table now as it was back then. It's creamy, studded with corn, and the cornbread topping is to die for. The recipe for what we call Gold Rush Corn Bake is online now and ready for you to print out so you can have it as soon as tonight. One bite is all it'll take for you to discover just how good it is. I'm Howard from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a golden nugget way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Thank you, Howard. There is an alert day today for a chance of severe thunderstorms. And this weekend, we've got a heat wave moving in. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti will have the details coming up in your first alert forecast. A large U.S. bank says it is cutting ties with companies that run immigration detention centers and private prisons. And Target launches an online sale day to compete with Amazon. Diane King Hall has your Money Watch report.
The U.S. economy grew 3.1% during the first quarter of the year. That's according to the Commerce Department. This is the third and final estimate, and the number was in line with expectations. Bank of America is making a move to cut off profits from forced detentions. The nation's second biggest bank says it will stop doing business with companies that run immigration detention centers and private prisons. B of A has previously financed Caliburn, the operator of a detention center in Florida. Amazon won't be the only destination for online shoppers on Prime Day next month. Target has announced an event called Target Deal Days, which coincidentally runs from July 15th through July 16th, the same as Prime Day. Not to be outdone, Walmart will offer deals on Walmart.com from July 14th through July 17th. And eBay announced plans to host a crash sale on July 15th. That's some ribbing about Amazon's server problems last year. In the midst of a meatless craze, Arby's goes meatitarian. The fast food chain known for its roast beef sandwich is unveiling a new menu item, vegetables made out of meat. The creation is a turkey-based carrot dubbed the Merit. The company says it contains the same amount of vitamins as a raw carrot and has more protein. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
Diane, thank you. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrials up 42 points, the NASDAQ up 53, and the S&P 500 is up almost 13 points. Let's check in now with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee. A meat carrot.
Yeah, that might add finally get my vegetables, I guess, with that kind of approach to things. So, whatever, it's going to work. I might have to lay my eyes on that one. That's kind of interesting. What we're interested in today, Mark, is what's coming up tomorrow. Of course, everybody's about Osaka, Japan, the G20. President Trump still on schedule to meet with China's President Xi on Saturday. USDA tomorrow will release their latest crop report as far as the acreage estimates they believe got planted this year. Now, I'm constantly being reminded that these numbers were pulled back in early June when we maybe didn't have much of a clue on what was going to go on what acres. So accuracy, not exactly what the market is looking for here, but just general trends. They'll also give us an update on how export numbers are looking and also how our supply situation's on hand. So markets are jittery at best today. I see that right now our soybeans are down closer to a dime than the 2 cents that you see on the screen there. So they're getting in position for hopefully what will be a rally tomorrow. Talking about this weather today in Chicago, our barrel cheese gained 4.5 cents, 176.5. 40-pound block cheese down a half, 183 3/4. AA butter was down a penny today at $2.41 a pound. This is the time of the year when we start seeing this heat and humidity really start to impact our dairy producers, not just here in the Midwest, but in the West and Southwest as well. I'm reminded also that Wisconsin is playing host right now to about a dozen prospective cheese buyers from the Middle East. They're representing countries like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Lebanon, and Qatar. Tomorrow they're going to be out in Mount Horeb for kind of a mini international buyer mission. And I thought to myself, Mark, maybe they will find this heat and humidity a little bit more palatable. If I'm coming from Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, I probably can take the heat. I'm going to talk to those folks tomorrow and see what they think about this humidity.
Yeah, they probably don't. They're not used to that, I'm sure.
I'm guessing, but I'll have a nice conversation to report, I'm sure, after I get done with that.
90's probably a cool day over there.
Yeah, that is a good point. That's a very good point.
All right, we'll see you later. Thank you, Pam. Yeah. Speaking of hot weather, here's Gary Canalti.
Well, first we have to get past the possibility for some severe weather late this afternoon and tonight. Already a big cluster of thunderstorms has been pushing across Minnesota. The upper level winds taking the high cirrus clouds basically from west to east. But look at the low level winds bringing the cumulus clouds that have been building from south to north. This is what we call wind shear. You have low southerly winds near the ground and then upper level winds from the west aloft. That makes a very efficient situation for thunderstorms to develop because you have a continuous flow of fuel into the storms. The air rises into the storms, and then kind of the exhaust system, the jet stream, pushing the winds out of the top of the storm. So that keeps these thunderstorms going for long periods of time. And as you can see, this line of thunderstorms is held together very nicely as it's pushed through the Twin Cities area. It's weakened a little bit. There is a severe thunderstorm watch for parts of western Wisconsin that has just about been canceled. But the Storm Prediction Center watching parts of northern Iowa for potential severe weather watch. This may move mainly to the north of southern Wisconsin, but another round of storms developing farther to the west may sweep southeastward later on tonight. The Storm Prediction Center now has an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms pretty much over all of southern and western Wisconsin. This is mainly for high winds. That's the biggest threat you can see centered right over that area for the possibility for a squall line that could bring more widespread damaging winds. Hail threat, pretty low. With the warm temperatures, the hail melts before it reaches the ground, or at least a fair amount of it. So right now, about a 5% chance of hail within 25 miles of a point. And the tornado threat, while they're still very low, probably about 2%. So not too big of a threat there. Again, the high winds, the main threat. And then tomorrow, depending on where those storms die out and where new storms fire up tomorrow, some of those could become severe over parts of southern Wisconsin. Right now, a marginal risk of severe weather over southern Wisconsin. Rainfall, another issue, because those storms may travel over the same general area, or we may get several rounds of storms. So now the computer models are pointing at about 2 to 3 inches of rain possible over southern Wisconsin through early Saturday morning. There could be some localized heavier amounts, although some areas probably will pick up less than what the computer models are showing there. So again, late today, tonight, and into tomorrow, possibility for some severe weather, and then the heat and the humidity build for the weekend. Highs Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, all around 90 degrees. Nighttime low temperatures around 70, and the heat index values well into the upper upper 90s to near 100. Live here from the Platteville-Quimby Radio Skycam, you can already see that cirrus shield moving eastward, whereas here from the WISC Skycam looking toward the east, just a few fair weather cumulus clouds and a little more sunshine. Right now, 85 degrees, but as those clouds start to thicken up, I don't think temperatures will go much higher than this. The dew point temperature yesterday was in the mid-50s. It's now in the mid-60s, so that's allowing the atmosphere to become much more unstable. Temperatures in the 80s here. Notice how the air is cooled off behind the thunderstorms where the rain has cooled things, so that temperature contrast also makes a very efficient situation where a line of strong winds could come out from ahead of that area of thunderstorms. So that does bear some watching for this afternoon. Look for skies to be variably cloudy, possible thunderstorms late, high temperature at 86. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms are likely. Some of those storms could be severe with hail, high winds, and heavy rainfall. Low temperature at 68. And then tomorrow, look for variably cloudy skies, a very warm and humid day, and some scattered thunderstorms, high temperature at 88. On future track, you can see that line of thunderstorms moving through, and then perhaps another line later on tonight into tomorrow morning. After that, some thunderstorms, a possibility during the day tomorrow. High temperatures in the upper 80s. Again, rainfall amounts could be anywhere in the 1 to 2 inch range from some of these thunderstorms, but the 7 to 10 day forecast, you can see those temperatures really taking off right around 90 for the weekend. That's why we have the alert days all the way through Monday. Thunderstorm chances are there, but pretty small during the weekend. Maybe a little better chance for midweek. Temperatures still in the mid-80s through the 4th of July holiday. We'll just have to dodge a few thunderstorms. Most of the time, we'll be rain-free.
So the main bullet is tonight, overnight, the main threat?
Off and on, basically from late this afternoon through tomorrow.
Make sure your weather radio is up and running.
Yep, good idea.
Thank you.
Sure.
Coming up next at noon, Marissa DeGroot is here from the Dane County Humane Society with a trio of rats. We'll be right back. Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here with our pets of the week, Kenny, Danny, and Lenny. A trio of bonded rats?
Bonded rats.
I didn't know rats would bond.
Yep, they are incredibly social, and these three boys love each other. When I found them this morning, they were all napping together in a big old ratty pile.
Here's a little rat pile here.
So they absolutely love each other, and they are senior gentlemen. Which means that they might be around 2 years old. So we're looking for a home where they can go home together and that you're prepared for, you know, kind of senior rats, which means that they get a little active and then they just want to nap.
Yeah, these guys were sleeping here.
Yes.
And these are, let's be clear, these are domestic animals. These are not rats you see on the streets.
They are Dumbo rats, and they were surrendered to the shelter when their family just wasn't able to care for them anymore. But that means that we do know a little bit about them, that they are, again, social boys. They have been great with meeting new people, and you can see they just have a whole bunch of personality, and they are so funny and snuggly.
You're going to need a pretty big enclosure, though, for three of them.
Yep, this is their little mobile home right now.
This is how they live.
How they've been traveling in. But even if you have that big cage, I love it because they are so bonded that they all just want to spend their time huddled up together.
And you say they're pretty sociable.
They are incredibly social, incredibly smart critters, and you know, these guys are looking for a family that if you want to help the animals most in need, these boys really do need it. Just senior gentlemen looking for a nice retirement home.
There you go. So what's going on here? You got the 4th of July coming up. This is a stressful time for a lot of
It really
pets.
can be. So with the fireworks going on this weekend and into next week, we want to remind people to keep your pets indoors. Don't be taking them out to the parks to see the fireworks. If you can, close the curtains, keep that radio or TV on to kind of distract them, and make sure that you have IDs and microchips, so then if the worst does happen, we can reunite them.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Open the door, they can just bolt.
You really can. It can be a scary time.
All right, last week.
Oh, Miss Laura, she did get adopted. We are so excited for her.
Did that toy go with her?
Yes.
That was a must. All right, glad she got adopted. All right, for information on what Lenny,
Kenny, and Denny.
go to the website giveshelter.org, 838-0413, the number to call. Let's find these guys a nice retirement home. There we go, 838-0413. Thanks, Marissa.
Thank you.
Gary has one final check of the forecast.
Well, Mark, your weather radio probably just went off because we have a severe thunderstorm watch until 7 p.m. It includes Dane County and areas to the west. Just came out from the Storm Prediction Center ahead of that line of thunderstorms. So there's the watch till 7 p.m. I'll have the exact counties, but basically it looks like, and you can see that actually in the lower right corner of your screen. It does not include Rock, Jefferson, or Dodge counties right now, but future radar takes the storms more into central Wisconsin. We'll have to see how far south they develop. The farther south they develop, the more likely they are to be severe. The farther south, the temperatures aloft may be enough to start breaking up those storms. So that bears some watching. Again, an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms for this afternoon and tonight for pretty much all of southern Wisconsin. Temperatures right now, mid-80s. Dew point temperatures, mid-60s to the low 70s. We're seeing heat index values right now, upper 80s to the lower 90s. Look for thunderstorm chances overnight and into tomorrow, and then a hot and humid weekend.
All right, keep an eye on the weather this afternoon. We'll break in as needed. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here for Live at 4. Have a great afternoon, everyone.